Hey beautiful people, it's Liz here. Today's class is going to be a simple, straightforward yoga vinyasa flow. I'm going to be teaching the classic opening and ritual series of Awakening Yoga. If you'd like to go to my website and learn more about Awakening Yoga, I have an entire page dedicated to explaining that more. We're going to be going through some breath work, a simple spinal shoulder warm-up. We're going to move into tabletop, take some movement there, and then I will guide you through the Awakening A and the Awakening B. This flow is a great warm-up. It's a great introductory to yoga, to at least the asana practice of yoga, as well as the pranayama practice. We're going to be practicing 3-part breathing. So if you're new or you're wanting to explore yoga a little bit more, this is a great class to come back and return to and watch the way the body opens, the way the consistency is. It's really smart to repeat flows more than once, because not only does the body remember and have a little bit of familiarity there, but also it can start to turn into a moving meditation, which is what we really want. You want to be able to drop into the body, drop into the breath, drop into the mind, and be really focused and centered in your practice. And sometimes when you're doing a sequence that is brand new to you, you can't really have that experience because you have to understand, where does my limb go? Where does my hand go? Where does my foot go? Where's my body weight, right? So yoga is this beautiful experience and practice of understanding our body in space and how it takes up space and how it moves in space. And then by virtue of the yoga asana practice, we can take this body awareness outside and off of the mat. So when we are moving around, we kind of understand where our body is in space, and we can move efficiently, we can move well, we can sort of have a little bit more control of our body. And then, of course, hopefully this practice leads into the deeper work of the spiritual practice of yoga, if that's interesting to you. I have meditations as well, but today we're going to pretty much just focus on breath work and asana, as well as a little meditation at the end too. So we are going to start in a seat. And a seat, which is asana, actually directly translates to seat in Sanskrit, a really important starting point. So how you start your practice matters, and it also tells you, how does your body feel today? So I am comfortable now, because I practice a lot, I'm comfortable with virasana. Virasana pose is hero's pose, where you're in a symmetrical shape in your lower body and your upper body. Your knees are in line with your hips. You have a little press and a little pressure through the tops of your feet, so you're getting a little stretch across the tops of your ankles. And then you're able to really access your breath. This can for some people not feel great on your kneecaps. So if you would prefer to take a cross-legged position, that's fine with me too. I also always pretty much put something underneath my sit bones. Of course, sitting like this, if this feels okay for the knees or for the heels to kind of meet your sit bones. But I like to have something to kind of press into. And these yoga blocks are a little bit thinner, but more classic, like cork yoga blocks, you might just need one, and you can put just a single block in between your ankles, and you sit your butt back, your sit bones back there. So lots of ways, right, of getting into things. There's many ways of doing things, whether it be a seated posture, meditation, breath work, yoga. You need to find what works for you. That's a big part of the practice. So please find a seat that will help you drop into the body, find a sense of comfort in your seat, that you can focus on your breathing, that you can focus on your breath. We're going to be taking something that's called Viloma Pranayama, which is a 3-part inhale. And then on the back end, on the end of our yoga practice, we're going to be taking a 3-part exhale. So kind of bringing it all together. So again, find a seat. There's a bolster there too. Sometimes people prefer bolsters. Again, you choose what works for you. Once you find your setup in your seat, maybe you take a little movement through the pelvis, through the tailbone. So having something to push your sit bones into is nice, because then you can kind of connect to your pelvis and your hips and notice how they feel today. So maybe you take a little bit of movement, some tucking, some flicking back, so you can sort of find that neutral or that medium place, that middle path. Very common theme in spirituality practices. Find that center point where you can really feel your sit bones evenly right to left. You can rest your palms comfortably on your thighs. Maybe the gaze is soft to the floor or straight forward. Maybe the eyes close. And now the work is just settling in, dropping in, and arriving. Connect to your breath. Connect to the inhale through the nose, filling up from the lower belly, all the way to the collarbones. Maybe there's a soft pause at the top. And then as you exhale through the nose, through the mouth, your energy is traveling down your spine, through the sit bones, into the floor. So a few breaths just like that to practice that. Inhales and exhales. Try to soften through the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the throat. So the breath work will be a 3-part inhale through the nose and a full exhalation through the mouth. Before we begin, we'll take a clearing, cleansing breath. When you're ready, inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Seal the lips. Inhale through the nose, fill up the lower belly, and then pause. Take another sip of air, fill up the ribs, the lower back, the mid-back, pause. Take a 3rd sip all the way to the top, to the collarbones, to the shoulders. You marinate, you pause in that full breath. Open your mouth, big exhale. Seal the lips. Inhale, part 1. Pause. Inhale, part 2. Pause. Inhale, part 3. Pause. Open your mouth, exhale. Inhale, part 1. Inhale, part 2. Inhale, part 3. Open your mouth, exhale. Inhale. 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 Exhale. Inhale. 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 Exhale. Big full breath in all the way. Open your mouth to clear. Just notice how you feel. Root through the sit bones. Take some soft teetering of your torso. Lean back, lean forward. And then lower the chin to your chest. Stretch the back of the neck. Breathe into the upper back, the cervical spine. Notice where the shoulders, the upper body, meets the head. Trace the collarbones with your chin, so left to right, moving the chin to the left shoulder, moving the chin to the right shoulder, warming up the sides of the neck a little bit more. And then return your chin back to parallel to the floor. You'll interlace your hands behind your back body and chase the earth with your knuckles as you draw your shoulder blades back. Lower the left ear to the left shoulder, bend your right elbow, and bring your hands over the left hip. So you'll draw this left elbow in and release the left ear towards the left shoulder, stretching the right side of the neck a bit more deeply. If you want to take some movement through the chin, warming up the sides of the neck, feel free. Breathe. Return your head back to center. Release the bind of your hands. Release the grip. Stretch through the fingers. Maybe move the fingers a little bit. Roll out the wrists. And then interlace the hands again, but try to take the opposite bind. So the opposite thumb or the opposite pinky is on the top or the bottom. And then you'll stretch towards the floor. So draw the shoulders back a bit. Maybe look up. Take a soft spinal extension. And then bend your left elbow, bring your hands over the right hip, pull the right elbow in, lower the right ear toward the right shoulder, stretch the left side of your neck. Take some movement with your chin. Close your eyes, breathe. And there's always a really subtle difference here between holding a posture or just letting the head stay heavy and still and stretching through the neck and breathing through it, or finding movement. It really depends on what the joints and what the muscles need, and that's up to you to decide. Return the head back to center, release the arms. Just stretch behind you, big stretch, pull the shoulder blades around your spine. And then reach up and overhead, stretching through the fingers towards the ceiling. Take a nice big breath in. Flip the palms forward, bend your elbows, take a cactus, look up, and think about pulling your elbows towards your side body, towards your hips. And as you inhale, as you stretch up, lengthen through the tailbone, lengthen through the spine, draw the navel in, find this sort of contraction in your torso. And then as you empty, as you exhale, maybe you find an arch to open up through the heart. So take one more just like that. Big breath in to stretch up. Exhale to cactus and open and free. And then bring your palms to connect. Thumbs at the sternum. Take a big breath in. And a full breath out. Close your eyes, settle into your experience. Maybe you set an intention or a dedication for your practice. Dedicating your practice to outside of yourself is a reminder that this is a micro and a macro practice. How you take care of yourself here is a direct reflection of how you take care of the world around you. Big breath in. Full exhale. Come forward into tabletop. So tabletop, quadruped position, lots of ways to think about it. But I want you to bring the blocks off out of the way and hands come down onto the floor. Wrists are directly underneath your shoulders. Knees are underneath your hips, and start to warm up your wrists. So circling your shoulders over your wrists. So you're shifting your weight into the base of your hands, into the thumb, into the pinky, into the finger pads, into the pinky, into the thumb, right? Exploring space here. Option to tuck your toes and start to just feel the connection there through the soles of your feet. Maybe flip your fingers towards the edges of your mat, or maybe even flip them towards your knees. You can lift and lower the palms. I like to call this pawing the earth a little bit. Really nice way just to continue to wake up the joints. And then start to walk your hands towards your knees. You might reach back and make sure your pinky toes are really tucked under here. Keeping your hands on the floor, just feel the pressure into the heels. Notice if your heels splay out to either side. Draw energy through the arches of your feet as you find a push through the big toes and through the toe mounds, right? And then hands walk up. Maybe you upright your spine. This can be a lot if you haven't stretched your toes a lot. The soles of the feet and the ligaments and the tendons from the toes and up to the knee, up through the ankles, the knees, they're really, really important. They're important for posture. They're important for making sure you don't get any major arthritis in your feet. It's important for balance. So just stretch here. Breathe into it. Notice if the intensity is really, really high and how you can modulate it. If you want to shift your weight a little bit side to side, to make this more intense if you want to. If you're a yogi and you do this a lot, you can bring the block onto the heels, and that puts even more pressure onto it, and then you can really root those sit bones down and you can get a really deep stretch into the foot. This is a great practice for literally any time of the day. When you're waking up, maybe when you're folding laundry, you can integrate this into a daily practice and your whole body will really thank you for it. Your feet are so critical and crucial for so many reasons. And there's actually there's yoga lineages completely dedicated to working from the feet up and the importance of the feet, or like really big portions of that lineage that it's so critical. So paying attention to your feet, really important. Couple more breaths here. Nice, come forward. Hands to the floor. Lift the feet up and just roll out the ankles. Maybe even tap the feet. Nice. And then we'll take some cat-cows. So hands can stay under the shoulders or you could flip them, right? Settling through the palms. I like to take flip-handed cat-cow. It really helps to open up my chest. It really helps to continue to open up my forearms and my elbows. You take what serves you. Also for the hands, right, they can be right under the shoulders. They could be wider. They could be on blocks. For people that wrist stuff, as you build your strength in your wrists, if you ever need to bring your forearms down, you're welcome to do that, right? So we'll start to work into spinal stuff. So cat-cows, hands are where you want them to be. As you take an inhale, you soften through the tailbone, you soften through the belly, you start to lift your heart. So this is spinal extension, right? An arch from the low back to the crown. And then you're finding flexion. So you're tucking your tailbone, you have the low back, the mid back, the upper back, the shoulders, you're protracting, you're dropping your chin, the crown of the head goes towards the floor. As you breathe in, you release low back, mid back, upper-ish back, shoulders, throat, skull. And then exhale to round. Can you really draw out the breath, right? Can you expand or elongate the breath in a way that lets you feel the whole posture with all of the breath parts? 3 more rounds. Inhale, soften the belly, soften the elbows, open your heart, maybe look up. Exhale to round, tuck your tailbone, push the floor away. Inhale, 1 more. Exhale, curl. Come back to neutral. Wave your butt around a few times. And then step your hands forward, step your feet back, push your butt up. It's downward dog. As you arrive, pedal your feet, push through the palms. Find what you need here to really settle into the body. We tend to dump weight into the hands, try to use the strong leg muscles to push your butt up towards the sky, Try to soften your heels. Maybe you bend your knees. I always like to cue bending the knees and lifting through the heels and finding a bit of a bounce in towards the heels. Or a bounce, through the knees and your hips. So you can really start to connect to the power of the legs. Push through the palms. Can you let the head, the crown get heavy? Think about the collarbones towards the toes. Soft seal of your lips. Breathe in and out through the nose. Find Ujjayi Pranayama. Oceanic victorious breath. The music of your practice. On your next inhale, lift your right foot up. Try to extend through the glute, through the heel. You can even open your hip a little bit, but then dial the toe down and try and square your right hip to the floor, staying strong through the arms. So 3 points of contact to the floor. Look forward and bend your right knee and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. The left knee comes down to the ground. This is a great place for blocks to be under your hands, so your chest can kind of stay nice and lifted. And then just floss forward and back here. So low lunge, half splits. Ardha Hanumanasana. So you're flossing through this front leg a little bit. You're working into the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint. Noticing how they feel. Drive through the right heel. Every time you pull this right hip back and you pull your toes towards your face, you're activating that line of energy. And you're moving forward and back. Now we'll add on some twists, some thoracic twists. So the left hand stays on the block, left hand on the block. Your right arm opens to the sky. Take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, you release the twist. Maybe the right forearm kind of drops down. You melt in between your ankle and your left wrist to find almost like a lizard lunge shape. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Breathe in. Breathe out. This is called like world's greatest stretch, right? In like the fitness community. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Nice. Right hand comes back to the block or to the floor. You might not need blocks. You'll lift up your back knee and now you'll push your butt up. So think pyramid pose. Think like a wide supported pyramid. I like to come onto my hands here, my finger pads, push through the big toes, and hinge at your hips to stretch out the back line of this right leg. And then bend your right knee, keep the right foot slightly pivoted out, and you'll step your left foot up, and you'll take a nice active squat. So active squat, kind of like a more narrow sumo squat. Your heels are on the mat, the toes are off of the mat, and you're sinking nice and low into this space. Shift your weight a little bit side to side, maybe up and down, but then really commit to it as you press your knees towards your pinky toes and you reach your arms forward and find this load. And then bring your palms to touch and straighten your legs, bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna try that one more time. So as you bend your knees, inhale to reach your arms forward, palms connect. As you exhale, drive to stand. One more time, inhale, pull, reach your arms forward, push your knees wide, exhale to stand. Nice. Now this time, arms sweep overhead. Big breath in, you can even reach your arms back behind you, find a nice stretch through the front body. And then as you exhale, bend your knees, sinking back through the active squat. Now your butt goes back and your hands come to the floor. You're nice and wide to comfortably step back to downward dog. The left foot steps back, the right foot steps back. Breathe in, breathe out, pedal through the feet. When you're ready, left foot lifts, three-legged dog. So second side, start to stretch through the heel, heavy in the right foot, 3 points of contact to the ground. Notice if you can distribute the weight evenly. Look forward, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Nice big wide step, right knee comes down to the ground. Take your blocks under your hands and floss through the hips. So a lot of people don't think of it like this. But down dog to stepping up is actually quite an advanced functional movement flow. Not a lot of people have that space and availability, strength in their arms, as well as the ability to step the foot forward. So if you're doing that, kudos to you. You know, it's not necessarily the easiest transition for a lot of people for lots of different reasons, right? Having your arms overhead and bearing weight like this, down dog to the step through. I think a lot of yogis, so you're still flossing, you're flossing through the legs, drawing your knees forward, drawing your butt back, working into the left ankle, the left knee, the left hip. But I think we kind of start, yogis or people who are comfortable with dance and moving their bodies and working out, we kind of take that for granted a little bit. And that step through it's not easy, or that step forward, right? So thinking about that. So open up through the hips here. All right, then you're gonna take your modified supported pyramid pose. So right toes tuck, back knee lifts, butt goes up, hands come on the inside of your left ankle, and you're folding. Back foot can sneak in, you're just kind of sinking low here. Nice. And then come forward. I forgot your twist, so sorry. So just a warming up. So when we move, this is like the modified awakening A. On your breath in, left arm opens up. It's gonna be a little bit faster in the second couple rounds. Left arm reaches up, you're pressing through the right hand. As you exhale, left forearm comes down. Inhale to open. As you exhale, you close, dip down, forearm in between the wrist and the ankle. Inhale to open. Exhale to fold. Last one, breathe in. And breathe out. Nice. Once again, left hand or maybe blocks go out of the way. Your toes tuck and you find your pyramid pose, more of a transition, right? So back foot sneaks in and then nice and slow, the right foot steps up and you're back in your active squat. So toes are out, heels are on the mat, you're sinking low. Maybe the elbows press into the thighs, that's always kind of nice. And then sink nice and low, hands come forward, palms touch and straighten your legs, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, your active squat. Nice. So we're gonna do that again. So I feel like this is where people sort of get really confused. So as you sink low on your empty, on your exhale, your knees are pressing out and you're finding this sort of sumo squat space and your arms are forward, you're feeling the load. And then as you exhale, you'll drive and your hands will come together at heart center. Right, so inhale, bend the knees, sink nice and low into it. Palms connect, exhale, you drive. So this time, inhale, you'll reach up, you'll straighten, breathe in. Exhale to bend the knees, sink low, hips go back, hands to the floor. Right foot steps back, followed by the left, and you're in your downward facing dog. Pedal your feet, stretch your spine, push through the palms. It's gonna be a little bit faster. You guys got it. Right foot to the sky, inhale, three-legged. Right foot steps to the outside of your right hand. Now just keep moving forward. Step your left foot up. Toes are out, heels are on your mat. You're right into your active squat. The hips lower down, the arms come forward. Bring your palms to touch, straighten your legs, drive hands to your heart. Inhale to reach up. Exhale back to the active squat. Hips go back, hands to the floor. High plank, so you'll step your left foot back, followed by the right. So we're gonna add the awakening yoga vinyasa. It might be, we'll take the modified version. So high plank here, big breath in. As you exhale, lower the knees, bend your elbows, come all the way down to the floor. Maybe you roll over the quads a little bit. So vinyasas are, I like to define them as symmetrical shapes that bring you back into your breath and into your body. They could look like child's, they could look like cobras, right? But they are there for you to reconnect to your breath because prana is everything in the practice. Prana, pranayama, inhale, exhale, the pauses in between, that's really what matters, right? So we'll practice a little cobra here. So hands can come under the shoulders, elbows tuck in. As you inhale, you'll start to lift through the heart, the chest, you're heavy in the legs. And then as you exhale, you come back down, again, returning to your breath, toes tuck, press to the tabletop, hips to lift up, downward facing dog. Pedal your feet, shake out your head. Nice, now it's side two. So left foot lifts, inhale. Step it to the outside of your left hand. And then just keep moving forward. The right foot steps up. You're into the active squat. Hips, legs nice and warm, hopefully, right? Knees open, arms come forward. Bring your palms to touch and then straighten your legs, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, active squat. Hips go back, hands to the floor. High plank. Right foot, left foot. Now this time, you're holding the high plank, or as you exhale, you'll take a push-up. So big breath in to prepare, push through the palms, push through the heels. Exhale, move through a push-up. And then listen carefully. The knees come to the floor. You untuck your toes, and you slide your hips back, and you bend your elbows, and you look forward, right? You have this ramp, this space for your heart opener. And then from here, pull through, tuck your toes, find your upward dog if you want it. Or the legs can stay on the ground and you can find a nice tall long cobra. Maybe the head goes back. And then slowly come back, tuck your toes, find table, downward facing dog. So notice too how this vinyasa is about building stable, steady strength. And we're protecting our shoulders by taking the push-up and then lowering to the belly and being a little bit more protective as we enter our heart openers. Breathe in, breathe out. We're gonna flow, right? A couple of steady rounds here. Right foot to the sky, inhale. Step it to the outside of the right hand, keep moving forward. Active squat. Toes out, heels in, hips drop, arms lift. Inhale, palms connect. Exhale to straighten and drive and rise. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, active squat. Butt back, hands plant. Left foot, high plank. Right foot, inhale, prepare. Exhale, push up. Drop the knees, untuck your toes, slide your hips back, look forward. As you breathe in, upward facing dog, high cobra. Inhale. Down dog, exhale. Inhale, left foot lifts. Step it wide, exhale. Keep moving forward. Notice the little bit of pace, find your breath, toes out, heels in, hips sink low. Inhale, arms up, palms connect. Straighten your legs, drive. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, active squat. Butt back, hands to the floor. Right foot back, left foot, high plank, inhale. Exhale, push up. Knees lower, shift weight back, untuck your toes, look forward. Bend the elbows, pull through with control. Inhale to upward dog or high cobra. Downward facing dog, exhale. 2 more full rounds. I'm gonna add the hop, right, if you'd like to practice. Lift your heels, bend your knees. You can step or hop. Look forward, find your active squat. Right foot would lead the way, or you take your hop. Hips lower down, inhale, palms connect. Straighten your legs, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, active. Butt back, hands plant. Left foot or right foot, or you step and you hop and you jump and you land into the low push-up, right? So when you take that, your heart is gonna lean forward and your feet are gonna, they're gonna shoot back, right? So it might look like this. You're nice and light on the fingertips, but strong in the shoulders, right? So boop. And then rise. You can see how it connects, and then knees lower, weight shifts back, pull through. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Last round, you got it. Set yourself up well. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Step, hop, float. Find active squat. Hips sink low, arms come forward, palms connect, straighten your legs, hands to your heart. Inhale, lift, reach up. Exhale, active squat. Hips back, hands plant, and find your transition through the vinyasa, right? So symmetrical shapes, breath to movement, whatever that looks like. Shoot the legs back or step the feet back. Inhale, high plank, move through the push-up if you want that. Knees release, pull through, right? So if you're getting ready to work out too, this is great for prepping the shoulders. Hips to the sky, engaging your core. Nice. Breathe in, breathe out. All right, awakening bees. Right foot to the sky, again, three-legged dog. Step the foot to the thumb. So difference here, right? It's a more narrow stance. Again, even more challenging. Bend your back knee and rise up. Now I want you to think like a double bent leg lunge. And this is great so you can focus on, sometimes in high lunges, we really extend through the butt and through the low back, which is, it's not wrong here, but thinking about really stabilizing through the legs. So pushing into this right foot, maybe even put your right hand on your thigh and kind of as if you're kicking into a wall and squeezing that glute. Maybe even kind of shift forward. Nice, so this is where this starts to get really challenging. You guys got it. You're warming up this right leg. You're gonna lean forward a little bit. Maybe you take your blocks. Yeah, definitely take your blocks for round one. And then you're gonna lean into the right foot and lift this left leg, and you're gonna take a crouching warrior. So that's what we call it in awakening. We call it a crouching warrior or a double bent or a bent leg warrior 3, right? So you're pushing into that foot. And then here is like the real work here, the deadlift thing. You're gonna push and straighten through the leg and find a warrior 3. But just as a transition, you'll rebend the knee and the left foot steps back and you rise to high crescent lunge. So this is a lower body doozer here, right? Really waking up your core. You're gonna be warm for whatever you're up to after this, right? Find your high lunge, again, noticing your pelvis. I have a tendency to do this, right? Nice and low, kicking through the heel, trying to keep these hips nice and neutral. Arms come overhead, option to add a little back bend. Palms connect, thumbs to the nape of the neck, and start to reach up, look up, stretch back. Maybe the hands reach forward as an extension of your spine. And then nice and slow, come out of it. Now your option for the vinyasa. Hands plant, you step right back into the high plank, or you keep the foot lifted. You move through the three-pointed push-up, and then toe lands, knees land, hips shift, inhale, pull through, up dog, down dog. Left foot, inhale. Step it to the left thumb, exhale. Rise up, roll over the right toes. Back knee is nice and bent here, right? Find a little play here, check in with your hips, and then try to drive through this right heel. As you sink lower into this hip, try to keep your pelvis neutral, lean forward. Load the left leg, find your blocks, shift your right, lift your right foot, keep a big bend in your knee, find that crouching warrior, right? And then push to straighten, to drive, pull this hip, this femur bone back as you find your warrior 3. And then rebend the knee with control, hands to the blocks, right toes step behind you, you find your high crescent lunge. Sink the hips low, maybe bend the knees, kick through the heel, right, find the energy through the legs, palms connect, thumbs to the nape of the neck. Maybe you start to reach up and add a little back bend, arms reach back. And then slow, you come out of it. Hands plant, left foot extends, three-pointed push-up if you want it. And then toes, knees, shift back. Upward dog, downward dog. Inhale, right foot, you got it. 2 more full rounds, right foot to the thumb. Double bent leg lunge, back knee lowers down, rise up. And now kick through the heel as you lean forward, as you load the leg, and then find your crouching warrior. Lift the left foot, don't let it be dead weight, right? Keep that right knee nice and bent, and then try to drive and straighten the leg. Pull the hip bone back, point through the left toes. Rebend the right knee, let it land. Inhale, high crescent. Add the bind, add the connection of the arms. Squeeze those elbows in. Maybe start to look up, lift up, play into it. Maybe the arms reach back. Nice, and then nice and slow, come out of it. Hands come down. High plank pose, whatever variation here. Hold or take a push-up if you want to. And then release the knees, shift back, look forward, move through the up dog on the breath in. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot. Step it to the left thumb. Back knee comes down or hovers, you rise. That knee can always come down too if you're like, whew, right? This is a beautiful shape, right? And then when you're ready, start to lean forward, kick through this heels. If there's a door, if there's a wall behind you, right? Use it, play with the pelvis, lean forward, float the foot. Keep the knee bent, right? Keep pushing heavy through the left foot. Pull the hip back and then work to straighten. And then bend the knee. Reach the toe backs, reach the right foot back. Take a moment, inhale, high crescent, sink into it. Bend the elbows, find this space here, big, big shape, really active through the core. Notice the ribs, right? Mine flare. Not necessarily a bad thing, but inhale, reach up. And then exhale, hands come down. Left foot steps back, high plank, three-pointed, whatever you want. Hold or take the push-up, right? And then maybe lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Shift back, table, down dog. Again, you can modify or you can, just take the pace, take the postures, the practice that your body wants to move through, right? Breathe here in down dog. We're gonna take one more round. You got this, find your breath. Three-legged right foot, inhale. Step it to the left thumb, exhale. Double bent leg lunge, inhale. Push through the back leg, lean forward, exhale. Crouching warrior, pull forward, float the leg. Exhale to straighten, warrior three. Rebend the right knee, left toes land to the back of the mat. High crescent lunge, inhale. Sink into it, exhale. Inhale, reach into the space you cannot see. Exhale, come down. Plant the palms, push the earth away. Three-pointed plank, inhale. Take the push-up, exhale. Option to also lower the knee and come here with the left foot, with the right leg lifted, pull through into your upward dog. Downward dog. Three-legged, left foot, inhale. Step it to the left thumb, exhale. Back knee lowers, hovers. You're pushing the ground away, you're finding your pelvis, and then you're kicking through the heel. You're using that energy, shifting forward. Crouching warrior, find it. Drive to push. Left knee bends, nice and slow. Really working on stability and balance. Rise up, palms connect, sink into it, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach. Exhale, come out. Hands down. Left foot shoots back. Maybe you look forward. You bend your elbows, you bend your knees. You pull through. Always just options. Noticing the way you can modify, right? Thighs can come down. And then last, downward dog. Shift forward, tabletop, knees open up, sit back. Take child's, take a breath. Forehead down to the floor. Big breaths in and out, into your spine, into your shoulders. Whew. Find what feels really good. And then slowly rise up. You're gonna come back into that virasana. We're gonna take the reverse of the breath pattern. So you're gonna take a full breath in and we're gonna do a 3-part exhale just to start to close our practice. So find a position that is comfortable. Maybe it's, again, your legs are crossed. Maybe it's the non-traditional cross or the cross you don't take as often, right? Kind of notice the subtle patterns of the body. And then meet me back in your tall seat. Notice the heat, notice the body, notice everything. Find your breath. Couple moments here. Hands, palms rest comfortably on the knees, the thighs. Nice, all right. Round of breath in and out to prepare. In through the nose, full inhale. Out through the mouth. Lips are sealed. Inhale through the nose all the way. Pause at the top. And then through the mouth, little exhale, pause, exhale, pause, all the way empty. Pause. And then now do it through the nose. Inhale all the way. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Breathe in all the way. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Breathe in all the way. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Inhale all the way. Exhale 1. Exhale 2. Exhale 3. Inhale all the way. Last one, really full, all the way to the top. Really expand the breath front to back, right to left. Hold. Open your mouth, big exhale. We'll be here just for about 2 minutes of meditation. Take an inhale through the nose. Clear, audible exhale. Wiggle your fingers, maybe take some neck movements. Open your eyes, look around the room, take it in. Notice yourself in space, notice your body. I hope that practice served to bring you into awareness of your body and into your breath. Your breath is such a powerful part of being alive, and it's one of the autonomic processes of the body that we actually have some level of control over. So a really great nervous system regulation tool to practice on a regular basis. And then hopefully this body breath practice also cleared your mind a little bit, got you centered, and you're feeling that full connection that is the part of the yoga practice. All right, have a great day. See you soon. Bye.